Captain Daeho Kim stared at the screens in disbelief. After 3,000 years of complete silence, something was finally coming to Earth. The massive shapes appeared at the edge of the solar system, like dark clouds against the stars. They were ships bigger than anything humans had ever built. "Sir, we're getting signals," said Lieutenant Yujin Park, her voice shaking. "They're not friendly." Daeho had commanded the orbital defense station Aegis 7 for 15 years. He had trained for this moment his whole life, but no one really believed it would happen. Earth had been alone for so long that most people forgot other life existed in the galaxy. 3,000 years ago, aliens had come to Earth before. The old records said it ended badly. The aliens called humans unstable and too dangerous. They put Earth in quarantine, like a sick planet that might spread disease to the rest of the galaxy. No one could leave Earth, and no one could come to Earth. During those long years, humanity grew and changed. They built cities under the ocean and inside mountains. They made new kinds of people who could live in space or on other planets. They created weapons that could think and learn. But they did it all alone. Commander Bo Ram Park worked in the deep archives under Seoul. She studied the old alien records that survived from the first contact. The more she read, the more worried she became. The aliens didn't quarantine Earth because humans were weak. They did it because humans were too strong. "The reports are clear," Boram told her team. "They called us adaptive beyond safe limits. They were afraid of what we might become." On Mars, engineer Tae-min Choi was building something new in the Red Planet's deep caves. His team had spent decades creating humans who could live anywhere. They changed their bodies to breathe different air and eat different food. They made their bones stronger and their minds faster. The work was secret, hidden from Earth's government. "If aliens come back," Taemin told his workers, "they won't recognize us." The alien ships moved closer to Earth. Their leader was someone called High Admiral Kelthera. She sent messages to Earth in the old human language demanding surrender. She acted like humans were still using wooden boats and metal swords. "Primitive mammals," her message said. "Your quarantine is over. The Velothi Empire claims this system. Surrender now, and you will be allowed to serve us." Admiral Hyejin Lee read the message from her command center on Luna. She was old enough to remember her grandmother's stories about the first aliens. Those stories were full of fear and anger. The aliens had treated humans like animals in a zoo. "They think we're the same as we were 3,000 years ago," Hyejin told her officers. "They have no idea what we've become." The Velothi ships were impressive. They stretched for miles, covered in weapons and shields, but they moved slowly, like they expected no real fight. Their scans of Earth showed cities and space stations, but the aliens couldn't see the hidden bases or the secret weapons. Dr. Suho Nam worked on a research station near Jupiter. He was studying ways to change human DNA to make people stronger and smarter. His work was almost finished when the alien ships appeared. He sent his final reports to Earth just as the Velothi started shooting. The first alien attack destroyed Suho's station in seconds. 200 researchers died instantly. The explosion lit up Jupiter's sky like a new sun. When the news reached Earth, everything changed. "They killed civilians," Admiral Hyejin said quietly. "They killed scientists who were trying to help humanity grow." The death of Dr. Suho and his team woke something in humanity that had been sleeping for 3,000 years. All across the solar system, secret bases came online. Hidden weapons powered up. Underground factories started building ships and soldiers. Captain Woo Jin Lim commanded a mining platform in the asteroid belt. When the aliens attacked Jupiter, his miners put down their tools and picked up weapons. The mining platform opened like a flower, revealing gun batteries and missile launchers. "We've been waiting for this day," Woo Jin told his crew. "Our great-grandparents were too weak to fight back. We are not." On Earth, President Moon Jae-in gave a speech that reached every human in the solar system. His words were simple but full of promise. "They think they can treat us like our ancestors," he said. "They think we are still the same frightened people who begged for acceptance 3,000 years ago. They are wrong. We have used our time alone to become something new, something stronger, something they should fear." In the deep ocean, Dr. Gi Seok-yoon opened sealed laboratories that had been waiting for this moment. Inside were weapons that could learn and adapt. They could study alien biology and create new diseases in hours. They could turn the aliens' own bodies against them. The Velothi expected easy victory. Their history said humans were emotional and disorganized. They fought with crude weapons and gave up quickly when things got hard. The aliens had no idea that isolation had made humans into perfect survivors. Lieutenant So Young-han trained in Earth's moon bases with soldiers who looked human but were much more. Their bones were stronger than steel. Their blood could survive in space. Their brains could process information faster than alien computers. "We don't just fight to win," So Young told her squad. "We fight to learn. Every battle teaches us how to fight the next one better." The first small battles showed the aliens they had made a mistake. Human ships moved in ways that shouldn't be possible. Human weapons hit targets that should have been protected. Human soldiers survived attacks that should have killed them. Major Chan Ho Bei led ground troops that seemed to know what the aliens would do before the aliens knew it themselves. His soldiers didn't just follow orders. They improvised and adapted, faster than any species the Velothi had ever fought. "Every minute we fight them, we learn more about them," Chan Ho reported to his commanders. "Soon we'll know them better than they know themselves." As the first battles ended, the Velothi began to understand their terrible mistake. The humans they faced were not the same species they had quarantined. 3,000 years of isolation had created something new, something that treated war like an art form. High Admiral Kelthera sent urgent messages back to the Velothi Empire. The words she used had not been spoken in centuries. Request immediate reinforcements, threat level maximum, recommend reclassification of humans as extinction level danger. But it was already too late. Humanity had tasted alien blood, and they wanted more. The hunt was about to begin. High Admiral Kelthera watched her battle reports with growing horror. The humans were not fighting like any species she had ever encountered. They were learning too fast, adapting too quickly, and showing no fear of death. The Velothi Fourth Fleet had conquered dozens of worlds. They knew how primitive species fought. They panicked, made mistakes, and surrendered when they realized they were beaten. Humans did none of these things. Captain Woojin Lim's asteroid mining platform had destroyed 3 Velothi cruisers in the first hour of fighting. His weapons were crude human technology, but they worked in ways that made no sense. The mining, lasers cut through Velothi shields like they weren't there. "How are they penetrating our defenses?" Kelthera demanded. Her science officer, a tall blue creature with 4 arms, studied the data with confusion. "Admiral, their weapons are learning. Every shot teaches them how to be more effective." This was impossible. Weapons didn't learn. They followed programs written by their creators. But human weapons seemed to think for themselves, getting smarter with every battle. Pilot Nari Song demonstrated this terrifying ability when her fighter engaged a Velothi destroyer. Her ship was small, barely the size of a Velothi escape pod. But as she attacked, her fighter began to change. Its hull flowed like liquid metal, forming new weapons and armor. "My ship is eating their hull," Nari reported calmly to her commanders. "The nanomachines are breaking down their metal and using it to make me stronger." The Velothi crew screamed as their ship was slowly consumed from the outside. They tried to abandon ship, but Nari's fighter had sealed all the exits. She wasn't just destroying the enemy ship. She was studying it, learning from it, and taking what she needed. Dr. Gi Seok-yoon worked in laboratories 3 miles under the Pacific Ocean. His research had taken decades, but now it was ready. He had created biological weapons that could adapt to any alien life form in hours. When Velothi boarding parties tried to capture human ships, they found something waiting for them. The humans they expected to find were there, but they were different. These humans had been changed, improved, made into perfect killers. Lieutenant So Young-han met the first Velothi boarding party with her squad of enhanced soldiers. The aliens were twice as tall as humans and covered in natural armor. They carried energy weapons that could melt steel. They expected easy victory. Instead, they found nightmare. So Young's soldiers moved too fast for alien eyes to follow. Their skin turned hard as metal when alien weapons hit them. Their blood carried nanobots that could repair damage instantly. When one soldier was cut in half by an alien sword, he simply grew back together. "What are you?" The Velothi squad leader screamed as So Young's team tore through his soldiers. "We are what you made us," So Young replied, her voice cold. 3,000 years of isolation, 3,000 years of preparing for your return. The aliens began to understand that boarding human ships was suicide. But staying in space wasn't safe either. Human ships hunted in packs, using tactics that changed every few minutes. Just when the Velothi thought they understood human strategy, the humans would do something completely different. Major Chanho Bay led the ground assault on the first Velothi base in the outer system. His soldiers landed on the asteroid fortress, expecting heavy resistance. Instead, they found the base's defenders cowering in their bunkers, afraid to come out. "They're not fighting," Chanho reported. "They're just waiting." The reason became clear when human scientists arrived to study the captured Velothi. Dr. Minki Jian led a team of biological engineers who could modify living creatures in real time. They didn't torture the alien prisoners. They improved them. "We're going to make you better," Dr. Jian told the captured Velothi commander. "Stronger, smarter, more useful. You'll thank us when we're done." The modification process was not painful, but it was complete. The Velothi soldiers who emerged from human laboratories still looked like Velothi, but they thought like humans. They served humanity willingly, eagerly, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Commander Yejin An specialized in infiltration. Her teams could take on the appearance of any alien species, but they kept their human intelligence and creativity. She led the first deep penetration mission into Velothi space. "We don't need to conquer their worlds," Yejin explained to her superiors. "We just need to visit them." Her infiltration team spread across dozens of Velothi colonies. They looked like ordinary Velothi citizens, but they carried human biotechnology in their blood. Within months, entire worlds were infected with human-designed organisms that made the native populations more cooperative and helpful. The Velothi Empire tried to fight back, but they were fighting an enemy they couldn't understand. Humans didn't just want to win battles. They wanted to win everything. They studied alien psychology, alien biology, alien culture, and alien technology with the focused intensity of predators. Captain Sujin Oh took command of psychological warfare operations. Her broadcasts reached Velothi ships across the system, carrying the sounds of their fellow soldiers dying in human laboratories. But the sounds weren't just screams of pain. They were sounds of transformation, of aliens being made into something better. "We're not killing them," Sujin's broadcasts explained in perfect Velothi language. "We're helping them evolve. Join us willingly, and the process will be easier." Commander Hyun-Soo Kim developed weapons designed not to kill quickly, but to cause maximum fear. His soldiers carried tools that could paralyze enemies for hours while keeping them conscious and aware. Captured Velothi would be released after experiencing human creativity in the art of terror. These released prisoners spread stories throughout the Velothi fleet. Stories of humans who could change shape, read minds, and turn alien technology against its creators. Stories of laboratories where aliens went in as prisoners and came out as willing servants. The psychological impact was devastating. Velothi crews began surrendering before human ships even attacked them. They preferred capture to the alternative. Dr. Sang-Ho Park led research teams that reverse-engineered alien technology faster than its original creators had developed it. Within weeks of capturing the first Velothi ship, humans were building improved versions of Velothi weapons and engines. They spent centuries perfecting this faster-than-light drive, Dr. Park reported. "We've made it 30% more efficient in 2 weeks." But humans didn't just copy alien technology. They improved it, weaponized it, and turned it into something the original creators never imagined. Velothi communication systems became human surveillance networks. Velothi medical equipment became human biological weapons. Velothi transportation became human hunting tools. The galaxy began to receive reports of the war, and other species watched in growing alarm. The Galactic Council, which had quarantined Earth 3,000 years ago, held emergency sessions to discuss the situation. We made a mistake, admitted Counselor Veltar, an ancient being who remembered the original quarantine. We thought isolation would weaken them. Instead, we gave them time to become perfect killers. Captain Yuna Choi commanded the first human deep strike mission into Velathi home territory. Her ships moved through space like ghosts, invisible, to alien sensors until they were ready to attack. When they struck, they didn't just destroy military targets. They captured them, studied them, and made them better. Every battle teaches us more about our enemies, Yuna reported. Soon we'll know how to hurt them in ways they can't imagine. The Velathi Empire began a desperate retreat toward their core worlds, but it was already too late. Human ships had infiltrated their supply lines, their communication networks, and their governments. The hunters had become the hunted, and the humans were enjoying the chase. High Admiral Kelthera sent her final transmission to the Velathi homeworlds before her flagship was captured by human forces. Do not send reinforcements. Quarantine this entire region. The humans are no longer human. They are something worse. But her warning would not be heeded. The Velathi Empire was about to learn what happened when you woke a sleeping predator that had spent 3,000 years learning how to hunt. Fleet Admiral Donghyun Kang stood on the bridge of the Predator, humanity's first interstellar warship. Around him, displays showed the positions of 100 human ships as they moved toward Velathi space. This was not a rescue mission, or a defensive action. This was a hunt. All ships report ready, announced Commander Hyren Choi, his second in command. The Velathi have no idea we're coming. Donghyun nodded. Human ships moved through space differently now. They had studied captured Velathi technology and made it better. Where Velathi ships moved in straight lines, human ships flowed like water, following paths that made no sense to alien minds. The first target was Kepler Station, a Velathi military base 3 light-years from Earth. Intelligence reports said it held 50,000 alien soldiers and their families. The base was supposed to be impregnable, protected by shields and weapons that could destroy entire fleets. Captain Mi-suk Yoon led the advanced scouts. Her ship, Silent Death, approached the station while invisible to all known detection methods. The Velathi sensors couldn't find her because her ship absorbed energy instead of reflecting it. Station is completely unaware of our presence, Mi-suk reported, beginning infiltration. But the humans didn't attack the station with weapons. Instead, Commander Yejin An's infiltration teams went to work. They had spent months perfecting the art of biological mimicry. Her soldiers could look exactly like any alien species while keeping their human intelligence and ruthlessness. Phase 1 complete, Yejin reported 12 hours later. We now control the station's life support, communications, and defense systems. The Velathi garrison woke up to find their air filled with human-designed spores. The spores didn't kill them. Instead, they changed them. Within hours, the alien soldiers began thinking differently. They started to see humans as natural leaders, as beings worthy of respect and obedience. Resistance has ceased, Yejin continued. The Velathi are requesting permission to serve humanity. This became the pattern for human expansion. They didn't conquer worlds through destruction. They conquered them through transformation. Dr. Min-ki Jeon's biological weapons could rewrite alien DNA in days, creating new hybrid species that combined the best traits of humans and aliens. The Galactic Council watched these events with growing terror. Ambassador Kethra of the Zephyrian Republic sent urgent warnings to all member species. The humans are not just winning battles, she reported. They are converting entire populations. The Velathi colonies are falling without firing a shot. Commander Su Jin O perfected the art of psychological warfare on a galactic scale. Her broadcasts reached across multiple star systems, carrying messages designed to break alien morale before human ships even arrived. We know you're afraid, her messages said in dozens of alien languages. We know you've heard what happened to the Velathi. You can surrender now and join us willingly, or you can wait for us to come and take you. The broadcasts included footage from converted Velathi colonies. Former enemy soldiers spoke directly to the camera, explaining how much better their lives had become under human guidance. They didn't look like prisoners or slaves. They looked happy, fulfilled, and eager to serve. "The humans gave us purpose," said one converted Velothi officer. "They showed us how weak and limited we were before. Now we are part of something greater." Dr. Sang-Ho Park's research teams worked around the clock to understand and improve captured alien technology. Within months of the first battle, human ships carried weapons that were decades ahead of anything the Velothi had ever built. "Their energy weapons are impressive," Dr. Park reported, "but they're designed to kill quickly. We've modified them to cause precise damage that leaves the target alive but helpless. Much more useful for our purposes. The modified weapons could paralyze alien nervous systems without killing them, disable alien ships without destroying them, and breach alien defenses without damaging valuable technology. Humans were fighting to capture, not to destroy." Captain Hyun-Woo Lee led the assault on Velothi Prime, the alien empire's capital world. His fleet of 30 ships faced a planet defended by thousands of orbital platforms and millions of soldiers. The battle should have been impossible to win. Instead, it lasted 3 hours. "The planet's defense grid is using our own technology against us," reported the Velothi planetary commander before his systems went offline. How did they learn to do that so quickly? The answer was simple. Human infiltrators had been living on Velothi Prime for months, studying the planet's defenses and preparing for this moment. When Captain Lee's ships arrived, they found the planet's weapons turning on their own creators. General Jae-ho Shin landed on Velothi Prime with 1 million human soldiers, but he didn't need to fight. The planet's population was already surrendering, eager to experience the transformation they had heard about from other converted worlds. "We've been waiting for you," the Velothi planetary governor told General Shin. "Please, make us better like you made the others." The transformation of Velothi Prime took 6 months. Human biotechnology spread through the planet's ecosystem, changing not just the people but the plants, animals, and even the bacteria. When the process was complete, Velothi Prime was no longer an alien world. It was a hybrid world, perfectly suited for both humans and their new Velothi servants. Meanwhile, Chancellor Haiwan Jung represented humanity at emergency sessions of the Galactic Council. The other species demanded explanations for human actions, but Haiwan's responses were calm and reasonable. "The Velothi attacked us first," she pointed out. "We are simply responding to their aggression. If other species don't want to experience our response, they should avoid attacking us." But her real message was much clearer. The 3,000-year quarantine had been an act of war, and humanity was now collecting payment for those lost millennia. "You kept us isolated and alone for 3,000 years, Haiwan told the council. "You denied us contact with galactic civilization. You treated us like dangerous animals that needed to be caged. Now you complain when we act like the predators you forced us to become." The council tried to organize a response, but it was too late. Human agents had already infiltrated a dozen member species. Commander In-ho Kwan's occupation forces maintained perfect order on captured worlds through a combination of biological control and psychological manipulation. "The key to successful occupation," In-ho explained to his officers, "is to make the occupied population want to be occupied. They should thank us for conquering them." His methods were terrifyingly effective. Captured populations didn't rebel or resist. Instead, they competed to serve humanity more effectively. They turned in potential troublemakers, worked harder than they ever had under their original governments, and begged for more human guidance. Dr. Sora Lee developed the ultimate weapon in this campaign of conquest. Her laboratories could rewrite alien genetic codes in real time, but she went further. She could make aliens think human thoughts, feel human emotions, and serve human interests as naturally as breathing. "We're not destroying these species," Dr. Lee explained. "We're improving them. We're giving them the gift of human perspective." The process was irreversible. Once an alien population underwent Dr. Lee's treatment, they could never return to their original state. They became permanent servants of humanity, grateful for their conversion and eager to help convert others. Admiral Mi Young-baek's fleets didn't just control space around conquered worlds. They were building a new kind of transportation network, one designed around human needs and human psychology. The galaxy's ancient trade routes were being replaced with pathways that served human expansion. Control of transportation means control of commerce, Admiral Bayek reported. Control of commerce means control of everything else. The network grew rapidly as more worlds fell to human forces. Each new conquest added nodes to the system, creating a web of control that reached across multiple star systems. Soon, no species would be able to trade or communicate without human permission. As the third year of the war ended, the Galactic Council faced a terrible truth. Humanity was no longer just winning battles. They were reshaping the galaxy itself, one species at a time. The creatures they had quarantined 3,000 years ago had become something unprecedented in galactic history. Captain Yuna Choi's Deep Strike Forces reported from the edge of known space. We've made contact with species that haven't heard of humans yet. They're willing to negotiate surrender terms before we even explain who we are. The reputation of humanity spread faster than their fleets. Entire civilizations began preparing for human arrival, hoping that voluntary submission would earn them better treatment than the species that had resisted. President Moon Jae-in addressed the human population from the former Velothi capital, now renamed New Seoul. Our ancestors dreamed of joining galactic civilization as equals. Instead, we have made galactic civilization serve us. The hunt continues. But the hunt was no longer about revenge or conquest. It had become something much more fundamental. Humanity was remaking the galaxy in their own image, and nothing in the universe could stop them. The Velothi homeworld was dying, but not in the way worlds usually died. General Jae Ho-shin watched from his command center as the planet's surface changed color. What had been purple and gold Velothi cities were turning green and blue, the colors of Earth. Terraforming is proceeding ahead of schedule, reported Dr. Kyung-mi Han, the lead ecological engineer. The Velothi atmospheric processors are adapting to human requirements. This wasn't destruction. It was transformation on a planetary scale. Human biotechnology was rewriting the planet's entire ecosystem, from the smallest bacteria to the largest animals. Within a year, the homeworld of the Velothi Empire would be more suitable for human life than it had ever been for its original inhabitants. The remaining Velothi population watched their world change with fascination rather than horror. Dr. Sora Lee's genetic modifications had ensured they saw the transformation as an improvement, not a catastrophe. Our old world was weak and limited, explained former Emperor Kelthran, now a willing servant of humanity. The humans are making it strong and beautiful. Thousands of light years away, the Galactic Council held emergency sessions in chambers, filled with panic and desperation. Chancellor Hae-won-young sat calmly at the human delegation table, surrounded by representatives of species that had once considered humanity too dangerous to contact. You're destroying entire civilizations, accused Councillor Rethan of the Crystalline Assembly. You're rewriting the genetic heritage of billions of beings. Hae-won's response was measured and reasonable. We're improving them. Every species we've contacted is happier and more productive under human guidance. Their populations are growing, their technology is advancing, and their lives are more fulfilling. This was technically true. The converted species did seem happier. They worked harder, fought less among themselves, and showed remarkable loyalty to their human overseers. But they were no longer the species they had originally been. You're committing cultural genocide, Councillor Rethan continued. We're committing cultural evolution, Hae-won replied. The galaxy has been stagnant for millennia. We're introducing change, growth, and progress. Behind her calm words lay an ultimatum that every council member understood. Humanity was offering a choice. Voluntary, assimilation, or involuntary conquest. Either way, the result would be the same. Commander In Ho Kwon demonstrated the effectiveness of human occupation methods on 12 different worlds. His forces maintained perfect order without oppression, rebellion, or resistance. The secret was simple: make the occupied population want to be occupied. Traditional occupation requires constant vigilance, In Ho explained to his staff. Our occupation requires constant gratitude from the occupied. On the former Zephyrian world of New Harmony, the population had tripled since human arrival. The Kier planet's resources were being used more efficiently. Its people lived longer and healthier lives, and its technology advanced faster than ever before. The only cost was complete loyalty to humanity. "We're not slaves," insisted Mayor Kethra, a converted Zephyrian leader. "We're partners. The humans showed us how to be better than we ever imagined." Dr. So-Ra Lee's research had progressed beyond simple genetic modification. Her latest techniques could alter the fundamental structure of consciousness itself. She could make any sentient being think like a human, while retaining their original species' useful traits. "The mind is just another organ," Dr. Lee explained to her research team. "And like any organ, it can be improved." Her laboratories processed thousands of aliens every day. They entered as members of their original species and emerged as something new, beings that looked alien but thought human. The process was permanent, irreversible, and apparently welcomed by those who underwent it. "I remember being afraid of humans," said one converted Velati scientist. "Now I understand how foolish that fear was. Humans are clearly the superior species. Serving them is the most natural thing in the world." Admiral Myung-baek's transportation network had grown to encompass 15 star systems. No trade could occur, no communication could happen, and no travel could take place without human oversight and approval. The galaxy's economy now flowed through pathways designed to serve human interests. "Economic control is more powerful than military control," Admiral Bayek reported to Earth Command. "We don't need to occupy every world if we control every transaction." Species that had never been contacted by human military forces found themselves dependent on human-controlled trade routes. Their choice was simple: accept human oversight of their economy or face economic collapse. Most chose to accept human guidance. The alternative was starvation and technological regression. Captain Wonho Pak commanded the first generation of hybrid warships, vessels that combined human innovation with alien technology. His crews were no longer entirely human, but they weren't entirely alien either. They were something new, beings optimized for space combat and galactic conquest. "We understand both human strategy and alien psychology," Wonho explained. "We can think like humans but communicate with aliens in ways they find comfortable." These hybrid crews were perfectly suited for humanity's expanding empire. They could negotiate with unconverted aliens while maintaining complete loyalty to human interests. They were diplomats, soldiers, and administrators rolled into one. Professor Tai Ho An worked in the historical archives, studying records that went back thousands of years. His research revealed a disturbing truth. The galaxy had quarantined humanity before, and they had done it for good reason. "The ancient records are clear," Professor An reported. 3,000 years ago, humans were already showing signs of dangerous adaptability. The galactic community tried to contain the threat through isolation, but isolation had backfired spectacularly. Instead of weakening humanity, it had given them time to evolve without external limitations or moral constraints. The galaxy had created its own worst nightmare. The quarantine wasn't punishment, Professor An concluded. It was supposed to be protection, but it protected humanity from the universe instead of protecting the universe from humanity. Dr. Ji Unko's research had successfully created hybrid species that combined the best traits of humans with useful characteristics from other life forms. The Velati human hybrids were stronger than pure humans, but retained human intelligence and creativity. The Zephyrian human hybrids could survive in multiple environments while maintaining human ambition and adaptability. "We're not replacing other species," Dr. Ko explained. "We're improving them by adding human elements." The hybrid populations were growing rapidly on dozens of worlds. They considered themselves human, but retained enough alien characteristics to be useful in different environments and situations. They were perfectly loyal to humanity, while being perfectly adapted to their local conditions. Commander Dongwoo Choi led expeditions to the edge of known space, making contact with species that had never heard of the Galactic Council or the Great Galactic Civilization. These primitive worlds were the easiest to convert, having no preconceptions about humanity or resistance to change. They welcome us as gods, Commander Choi reported. Their technology is so primitive that our basic tools seem miraculous to them. These worlds became testing grounds for new conversion techniques. Dr. Lee's teams could transform entire populations in weeks, rather than months. The process was becoming more efficient with each application. By the 5th year of expansion, humanity controlled or influenced over 100 worlds. The Galactic Council's authority was collapsing as member species either converted to human rule or sought human protection from conversion. The Council is irrelevant, Chancellor He Wan-jung announced during what would be the final session. We are establishing a new galactic order based on human values and human leadership. The new order was remarkably efficient. Converted worlds were more productive than they had ever been under their original governments. Interspecies conflicts ceased as all populations came under unified human leadership. Technology advanced rapidly as human innovation combined with alien knowledge. Captain Yan-Su Lim commanded the deep space exploration fleets that pushed the boundaries of known space ever outward. Her ships encountered new species every month, and every encounter followed the same pattern: contact, evaluation, conversion, and integration. The galaxy is much larger than we thought, Captain Lim reported, and every new species we meet shows the same weaknesses: inability to adapt quickly, over-reliance on tradition, and lack of innovative thinking. These weaknesses made conquest almost effortless. Species that had evolved over millions of years were transformed by human biotechnology in months. Their greatest strengths became human assets while their greatest weaknesses were eliminated. Admiral Hyejun's son looked out at the stars from the bridge of humanity's newest flagship, the Apex Predator. Around him, displays showed the positions of 10,000 human ships spread across a quarter of the galaxy. "Status report," he ordered. "All sectors report successful integration," replied his aide, Lieutenant Bo-young Kim. "Resistance has ceased. In the Outer Rim territories, the core worlds are requesting permission to begin voluntary conversion." Admiral Sun nodded. The galaxy had learned the lesson that the Velothi had tried to teach them. Resistance was futile, but cooperation was rewarding. President Sung-ho Moon stood before the reformed Galactic Assembly in the Great Hall that had once been the Velothi Imperial Palace. Representatives from 300 worlds listened as he spoke, but they were no longer the same species that had once ruled these worlds. They were all improved now, enhanced with human DNA and human thinking. Today marks the 10th anniversary of humanity's return to galactic civilization, President Moon announced. 10 years ago, you treated us as dangerous animals to be caged. Today you serve us willingly and gratefully. The assembled representatives applauded enthusiastically. Their approval was genuine, not forced. Dr. So-Ra Lee's genetic modifications had ensured that serving humanity felt like the most natural and fulfilling thing in the universe to them. The capital city around the palace bore little resemblance to the original Velothi architecture. Human biotechnology had reshaped the buildings to grow like living trees, reaching toward the sky in ways that satisfied both human aesthetics and practical needs. The air smelled of earth flowers that had been modified to thrive in alien soil. Chancellor He Wan-jung, now serving as President Moon's chief administrator, managed the daily operations of an empire that spanned half the galaxy. Her office processed reports from thousands of worlds, each one showing the same pattern: increased productivity, decreased conflict, and complete loyalty to human leadership. "The integration statistics are remarkable," Chancellor Young reported during their morning briefing. "Agricultural production is up 40% across all occupied worlds. Industrial output has doubled. Population growth rates have increased by 30%. These numbers represented the fundamental transformation of galactic civilization. Under human guidance, every species was becoming more efficient, more productive, and more content. The old ways of doing things were being replaced by methods that actually worked." Commander Won-ho Pak walked through the hybrid ship construction yards above New Seoul, watching crews that were no longer entirely human-built vessels that were no longer entirely based on any single species technology. The workers moved with perfect coordination, their human intelligence enhanced by alien physical capabilities. Production rate is exceeding all projections, Commander Pack reported. The hybrid crews understand both human innovation and alien engineering principles. They're creating ships better than anything pure humans or pure aliens ever built. The new vessels represented the future of galactic transportation. They could travel faster than Velothi ships, fight harder than Zephyrian warships, and explore deeper than any craft in galactic history. Most importantly, they were crewed by beings who considered service to humanity their highest calling. Dr. Ji-Un Ko observed the latest generation of hybrid children in the education centers of former Velothi Prime. These children looked alien, but thought human. They had the best traits of both species, alien physical capabilities and human creativity and ambition. They're not confused about their identity, Dr. Ko noted. They know exactly what they are, the next step in galactic evolution. The hybrid children played games that combined human strategy with alien physical abilities. They spoke multiple languages fluently, understood alien cultures instinctively, and served human interests naturally. They were perfect ambassadors to species that hadn't been converted yet. Ambassador So Min Yu traveled between unconverted worlds, carrying offers of voluntary assimilation. Her ship, Peaceful Integration, visited systems where humanity was still just a rumor, a story told by refugees from converted worlds. We're not conquerors, she explained to the leaders of each new world she visited. We're improvers. We take what you have and make it better. We take what you are and help you become more. Her success rate was remarkable. Most worlds chose voluntary conversion after seeing the evidence she provided, footage from converted, worlds showing happy, productive populations living better lives than they ever had before. The alternative was conquest, and everyone had heard what happened to worlds that resisted. Captain Dongwu Choi commanded the newest class of exploration, vessels designed to push into unexplored regions of the galaxy. His mission was to find new species before they could hear warnings about humanity from other sources. First contact is always the most important contact, Captain Choi explained to his crew. If we handle it correctly, there's no need for later conflicts. His first contact protocols were simple: demonstrate superior technology, offer immediate benefits for cooperation, and make it clear that resistance was both futile and unnecessary. The vast majority of new species chose cooperation. Dr. Yeonsu Lim worked in the deep research laboratories beneath New Seoul, studying the fundamental question of consciousness and identity. Her latest project involved creating artificial intelligences, based on human thinking patterns but optimized for different species' psychology. We can create beings that think like humans but communicate like any alien species, Dr. Lim explained. They'll be perfect administrators for worlds where the local population still needs time to fully adapt to human rule. These artificial administrators were indistinguishable from the species they governed, but they thought with pure human logic and served human interests. Absolutely. They could manage worlds with perfect efficiency while making the local population feel comfortable and understood. Fleet Admiral Dong Hyun Kang reviewed reports from the edge of known space, where human exploration fleets encountered new civilizations every month. The pattern was always the same: contact, evaluation, conversion, and integration. Resistance was becoming increasingly rare as word of human capabilities spread. We've contacted over 1,000 different species in the past year, Admiral Kang reported. Less than 5% chose to resist. The others requested immediate conversion. The galaxy was learning that serving humanity was not just inevitable, but desirable. Converted species lived better lives, achieved greater success, and found more meaning in existence than they ever had under their original forms of government. General Jae-ho Shin supervised the terraforming of the Outer Rim worlds, transforming planets that had been marginal colonies into garden worlds suitable for human habitation. His teams could remake entire ecosystems in months, creating environments that satisfied both human preferences and the needs of local hybrid populations. We're not destroying these worlds, General Shin explained. We're perfecting them. We're making them into what they always had the potential to become. The terraformed worlds were marvels of biological engineering. They combined the best features of Earth with useful characteristics from alien biospheres. The result were planets more beautiful and more productive than any single species had ever created. President Moon addressed the galaxy from his office in the former Galactic Council chambers. His words reached every inhabited world, carried by the human-controlled communication network that now connected all civilized space. "Some of you still remember the old galaxy," President Moon said. "A galaxy of separate species, competing interests, and constant conflict. That galaxy was weak and inefficient. The new galaxy serves everyone better." His words were translated into hundreds of languages, but the meaning was clear in all of them. The age of human dominance was permanent, beneficial, and absolutely irreversible. Admiral Hai-Jun Sun stood on the observation deck of the Final Victory, humanity's newest flagship. Around him, holographic displays showed the current extent of human influence: 800 star systems, 3,000 inhabited worlds, and over 1 trillion beings living under human guidance. "Status of unconverted territories?" Admiral Sun asked. "Remaining independent systems number fewer than 50, replied his intelligence officer, Commander Eugene Lee. "Most are requesting permission to begin voluntary conversion procedures." The independent systems were increasingly isolated, surrounded by converted worlds and cut off from traditional trade routes. Their choice was simple: join the new galactic order or face economic and technological stagnation. Dr. Min Ki-jian worked in the biological archives, studying genetic samples from every species humanity had encountered. His research focused on identifying useful traits that could be integrated into human biology or into new hybrid species. "We've become more than human," Dr. John observed. "We've incorporated the best characteristics from dozens of species. We're stronger, smarter, and more adaptable than the humans who first left Earth. But this evolution was controlled and directed. Humans remained fundamentally human in their thinking and values, while gaining the physical and mental capabilities needed to rule a galactic empire effectively. Captain Yansu Lim's deep exploration fleets pushed beyond the boundaries of known space, encountering civilizations that existed in complete isolation from galactic society. These discoveries proved that the galaxy was far larger and more diverse than anyone had imagined. We estimate there are at least 10,000 species in the galaxy, Captain Lim reported. Most of them don't even know that galactic civilization exists. This meant that humanity's work was far from complete. There were entire regions of space filled with species that could benefit from human guidance and improvement. The expansion would continue for centuries, but the pattern was already established. As President Moon concluded his address to the galaxy, he looked out at